Hello, Kevin here, and Cynthia's with me still.
Hello.
We've now moved on to St Giles of Cold Waltham, and we're standing in front of this sign that says St Giles Cold Waltham. This yew tree is one of the 12 of the oldest in the country, and it is subject to a preservation order. But just look at the size of the girth of this yew tree. We've started in an unusual place, round the northwest corner of the church, because inevitably there's someone been cutting grass, and they're down there now with a strimmer. So we just started around here by this yew tree, just to do something a bit different, but also to get out the noise of the strimmer. Look at the size of this. It's absolutely phenomenal. Look at this. And you get these gaps and hollows and in these old trees. It's fantastic. Beautiful old yew tree. But what I'll do is I'm just going to wander around this north side of the church. And we've got the huge tower up there, which is part timber framed, tiled roof by the looks of it. Tiled roof on the main church. Stained glass windows there. And we've got this double aspect gables just here above this northeast corner of the church. So let's just have a little bit of a wander around. As you can see, it's stone built. Not many big buttresses at all, so we've seen so far. Some tabletop tombs here. We've had a quick look to see if we can find any of the ancestors that I would have been looking for. So we do know that there are several generations of the Booker family buried in this churchyard, but unfortunately we haven't found any yet. We will keep looking. So here we are on the outside of the church, coming round onto the south side. And as you can see, the tower's up there. Well, we've drawn a blank on any of my ancestors, but just let me tell you a little bit more about St Giles's. Though it was largely rebuilt in 1870, some of the older fabrics remain, notably the 12th century tower and the 14th century arcade, which whilst the mainly 14th century chancel and much renewed, was little altered. It's Cold Waltham. I'm just heading back round this way because the man's going to start his strimmer up again, I think. Cold Waltham lies on the Roman Stane Street, which diverges from the line of the modern A29. The oldest parts of the church is 12th century, and that is likely to be dated, likely to be the date of the first building. But the main interest is H. Woodier's work of 1870 to 1871. The tower is the chief 12th century survival. Its dates shown by the low clasping buttresses and small round headed openings, now renewed. Well, Cynthia and I have come inside the church now, and the gentleman that's cutting the grass very kindly brought us into the church and has explained one or two things. It seems that this was a pagan site before the Saxons then had a church here, and then it's now got this church as it stands at the moment. But the one thing he was explaining was just here, we're underneath the tower, and we've got this Saxon font, but a Victorian top. I believe he said it's Victorian, but it's counterweighted. Now Cynthia's going to demonstrate this, and we hope this gets it right. As that goes up, so we've got to push that up. Right, as that goes up, the dove comes down. And that's it. And this is obviously for when there's baptisms. So perhaps Cynthia can now pull that down so it goes back into position. There we go, the dove's going up and the font top is coming down, and that will sit nice and neatly on top of the font. There we go, isn't that fantastic? Brilliant, that is just fantastic. So let's just have a look round. And the font is, I think they said it was about 12th century, I think he said. And he was on about the fact that he commissioned somebody to come in and do some decorating in here to redo the walls, but also he wanted these arches cleaned, but not to look as though they had been cleaned. And although unfortunately the lighting, now the door is closed, is not great, it is suggested that you've almost got like this, just here, this banding coming round, and just up there you can't quite see it, but it is, the rumour is that there was roses on all these arches, on that bit of banding that's going round there, which is absolutely fantastic. But there is so much history to this church. Just look at these arches here. So that's the south aisle. There was a thought at one point that they were going to build a completely separate north aisle as that one is there, but then this one was built. And again, it's a mixture of plain leaded lights and stained glass windows. And you've got a lovely stained glass window just up there. Look at that, just into that recess in the northeast corner of the church. Isn't that lovely? And here we've got this depicting St Giles. And just here, look at this. The Christ carrying the cross. And we've got the soldiers there with their long stances. And some there, and the people watching as Jesus is taken to the mound for crucifixion. There is the name of H. Woodier, which I mentioned around the outside, and he was actually responsible for designing that font cover. And I believe he's again quite a bit of, I think the rails and that were all part of what he did. So I'm heading now, you've got the pulpit just here in front of me, which is rather a nice one compared to the one we saw just now. And then we go into the chancel. Got some lovely tiles on the floor here. And this has got a reredos here. Look at that, that's rather stunning. And with the altar. Looks like an aumbrey over that side. And a piscina up in the corner there. And we've got a blocked up doorway here, which is on the south side. A designer called Sandham designed sequences for the glass. The main one leading to the east window, showing Christ in glory, with scenes from the life of Mary on the south side. See, as I pan around, you've got the organ pipes here, again tucked into a little alcove. In the chancel, glass by J. Hardham and Co., with whom H. Woodier was closely associated. The east window dates from 1870, the south windows from about 1874. And the one of the Good Shepherd at the west end of the chancel, which is where I think there's a possibility that they typed the wrong information about the window on the west end of the chancel, because we think that this here might be the Good Shepherd and this is the window on the west end of the church, which is above the doorway on the west end. This is under the bell tower. There's 3 sallies coming down there. Looking through some of my notes, and the piscina, which is in the chancel south wall, was with a restored trefoil head. Was probably about 14th century. The reredos was also by H. Woodyer around 1870, and it's stone and elaborately carved with angels and the Lamb of God. And the pulpit was also designed by H. Woodyer. So as I mentioned earlier on, he seems to have been heavily involved with things here at the church. I just want to have a look at this south aisle. Look at the stained glass window there. The south aisle arcade remains, but the arches, separated by a narrow piece of wall, as you can see there, differ from each other, and they are clearly inserted in older, possibly 12th century wall. And we've got this rather lovely, and it's not stained glass window, this is just a decorative panel that's set into the wall there with a within the right side of the arch on the south aisle. And then if I walked back this way, there's a little area set aside perhaps for Sunday school here, and you've got these windows set into the walls, these stained glass windows, which are, as I said just now, rather lovely. And there's a little side door here, which would be in the southwest, westerly sort of area, and again a very small stained glass window set right into the wall, and that is Christ with a lamb in his arm. Beautifully done. But as I mentioned just now, these may have been part of the original church. Look at the thickness of those. That's one of the pillars. Astonishing. The walls and the ceilings are painted with the very dark timbers up in the roof. Well, Cynthia and I have finished, and we're going to do an ending inside the church because the gentleman's very, very busy outside with his strimmer. We can hear him even now, and he said he can't hear a thing because he's wearing earplugs to listen to music and then ear defenders over the top. So we've got one more to do, and that's Thacum.
That's it.
So we've got to look at where that is, because I think it's a little bit further away than the rest of them. We've been very lucky today. So anyway, this is Kevin and Cynthia from St Giles.
Yes.
In Coldwaltham, yes, saying bye-bye, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to Kevin's Rambles YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed this video on Kevin's Rambles YouTube channel, why not give him a subscribe and a like and comment on his videos? It'd be very much appreciated.